Hello, everybody. This is your host of This is Africa. My name is KBM, Kenyan by Marriage. Today's date is Saturday, 6 June 2020. I was about to say 2019. Sorry about that. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. We have a very special guest today, the sister of homies and lifters. If you've seen that interview, this is the sister. Sizzles Diaries. I'm going to be going through a series of questions with her about products made in Africa. And of course, we're going to go in a little bit about YouTube business and things of that nature. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on. Welcome, Sizzles Diaries. Sorry about that. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, TIA. How are you? Welcome, everybody, and glad to have you here.
I'm doing pretty good. I do appreciate you joining me today and, taking the time.
I appreciate it too.
Okay. So just to dive into everything, tell us a little bit about the struggle you're having right now with the network. I mean, just let people know basically tell us where you're from and then let people know the type of struggles that you're having with the internet in your location.
Okay, guys, my name is Becky, and I'm filming right now, or I'm live right now from Namibia in a town called Oshikati. And I'm currently having a little bit of a hiccup with network. It's not something that's unusual. Moreover, it's something that's been happening not of late. It's a norm to us, but yeah, it's been a struggle to come online. But now we're on, and I'm just glad to be here.
And I'm glad you're here as well. Um, could you please let everybody know where they can find you on the internet?
Okay, so on the internet, you can find me on Instagram. So it's at Sizzles_Diaries. And on Facebook, you can find me under the name Sizzle Diaries.
Sizzles Diaries. Okay. Okay. Great. Hold on one second. I'm going to give a notification out. My wife wants to view the interview, so I actually accidentally sent her the wrong link. So
It's okay.
excuse me, wifey. So there you go. All right. So we're going to go through some series of questions that I've been watching your videos for the past I would say almost 3 weeks off and on, and I find it very interesting. And what I really find interesting about your content is that you really actually, not just go back into the village, but you go in and you start letting people know what is actually livable on the land. What's available, what does the land provide outside of farming that people can survive on. And then you also make products that I guess some people would consider unusual for an individual to make, but it's at the same time, uh, the way you do it, it's quite unique, and it's a blessing, to be honest with you. And I find it that the skills that you have and what you're offering to people to learn is very valuable. Not many people, to be honest with you, are doing it, and I really do appreciate that you are doing it. So basically, outside of all that, what is your profession? What do you do?
Okay, outside of all of that, I'm actually, first of all, I must say that the one of the greatest professions that's underrated is being a mother.
Okay,
So
yeah.
first of all, I'm a mother, and being a mother, you should be a jack of all trades. But in terms of accolades and education, I'm a labor law graduate, and I have a actually how can I say, I have a business that specializes in helping companies with labor law challenges. But overall, that's just a side hustle. My main specialty is um, homemade goods, from traditional to um, basically just authentic homemade African goods, from soaps to oils to cakes to biscuits, name it, I can do it.
Okay, okay. So what's the meaning behind the name Sizzles Diaries?
Okay, so on my journey to try and find a name that's a bit eye-catching and, grabbing attention, I've thought of, I'm actually known in my area to be one of those people who, if you are having a party or if you are having a celebration somewhere, that they'll definitely call me up and say, we need somebody to cater for us. We need somebody to help us cook up of a sizzling pot, And diaries is actually an archive of what I'm doing. So it's Sizzles Diaries.
Okay, that makes sense, and it's kind of funny sometimes when we're actually trying to find that name. That one, it makes sense, and two, the challenge of trying to decide on all these different names and hoping that somebody else doesn't have the exact same name or something very similar. So I understand.
Yeah,
Now, basically, the title of this
yeah.
interview is "Made in Africa." You basically already told us what you create. Now, I watched your latest video about making soap that comes from your grandmother's recipe. Outside of the traditional way of making the soap, how did you figure out a way to make soap using modern equipment?
Honestly, TIA, I must say that I felt a bit stuck when I wanted to, it's been in the pipeline to bring up this video, but then every time I'll think, how would I for this? And knowing that we are in lockdown and traveling back to the village is really a challenge. And the fact that traveling back to the village, not everybody is so welcoming to show you things because you have to come there and you have to guarantee them that you're coming from a place that is safe. So I actually watched your interview with Asmau Zakari. A big shout out to you. And she's actually put out a video on the type of equipment that you'll be needing to make soap from home, whether you're considering to make it as a business or just a hobby. And after I have the ancient recipe, I'm in town, but I do not have the equipment. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to try to replicate this in a manner that doesn't look like I'm copying her work. So yeah, my whole inspiration came from that video. And I must say thank you so much, Asma Zakari. You are so amazing.
Well, Zakari, if you heard that, I hope you're here. I hope you got the notification because you just got a major shout out. Um, Now, let me
Yeah.
ask you. Let me ask you. Now, when using the modern equipment, did you have to try more than once to make it work, or did it work on the first time, like creating the soap?
It's pretty good that you asked that question because I haven't tried this before, and obviously there was a trial and error. And
Hmm.
if you read in my description, I mentioned that I had to prepare this in advance. So the major challenge is extracting the um, the liquid from the ash. So the first time when I tried to extract that liquid from the ash, I didn't have enough ash. And since I do not like cook a lot outside, I had to run around to my neighbors and borrow ash.
Well, where did they?
Imagine who runs to their neighbor to borrow ash.
I was gonna say I was like I wonder how the reaction was when you asked that question.
So
Okay.
because they are people of my community, because they are people of my community and they understood when I tried to explain to them and they're like, wow, we're so impressed. Like our grandmothers used to do that. They didn't hesitate to borrow me the ash. So the first batch was an absolute fail. But then I had an opportunity to, as soon as the lockdown was lifted a little bit in my area. So you see
Hmm.
the guys that are always like on the street barbecuing meat and selling.
Yeah.
So I had to go to this guy and just negotiate. Look, just tell me how much you're gonna charge me for a bag or a box full of ash. So I had to wait.
Oh man. Perfect.
So I had to wait. So I had to wait about a week or so for him to produce enough ash that I'll be able to use to produce the batch that I've actually produced now, and that's the batch, actually the batch that came out so perfect.
Okay, that's I guess that would be considered very highly unusual but if there's money to be made and you made it possible for somebody to make money doing that, by all means, keep doing it if that helps your business. Absolutely. I was kind of thinking though, if you're going to like door to door to the
Yeah,
neighbors,
definitely.
like, hey, would you like me to take the ash off your hand so you don't have to deal with it? I was kind of wondering maybe they would say yes to something like that. What's your take on that? Would they do something like that, you think?
I think it's not everybody that will do it, but people like my neighbors, we are so close to one another and we've got a great sense of community and relationship. So they didn't question it because they also understood the whole system. But
Mm.
somebody who hasn't maybe grown up in my culture will find it like, why would I need to borrow somebody ash?
And
So
why borrow it? Do you just want me to take it and that way you don't have to deal with it? I'm not giving it back to you if
yeah,
I'm. I'll
yeah, it's
make a
kind of
soap.
weird. It's kind of weird, right? And I believe somewhere else where I might get a warning from a neighbor, like, get out of my house, you're coming here to borrow ash, I'm gonna call the police right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so now have you thought about or plan to have a workspace outside of the home to produce the soap and other products?
Yeah, actually I do have an existing plot of land and a small structure on there, and I'm just hoping that with time and resources I can develop it, so I'll be
Hmm.
able to make use of that space. But then the other challenge is the equipment. So I'm working on that.
Okay. And I would imagine from your video, the way you were talking about the fumes and everything, you had to do a certain part of the process outside, that the building that you want to make sure that the ventilation is going to be up to par to handle that. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's not something that you can do in a closed ventilated area, because even in the video you couldn't see that much of the fumes coming out. But honestly, for one, I was closer to the pot and I had to like keep my arm all the way far, like on arm's length from the pot, just so I cannot inhale the fumes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Okay. Okay.
Yes, because in the past they used to use this long stick to stir the pot, but then I couldn't get hold of that. I think it could have been really helpful.
Okay. So somebody in the chat is saying, tell them we don't sleep in the house. What's that about?
You see, the thing, TIA, is I always tell my some of my friends that if you have to come into my house, you'll think we are probably up to, I don't know, online, whatever. Because it's always extension cords intertwined, um, tabs running, PCs running, some sort of shooting going on, editing, and yeah, it's. I think that maybe in one day, YouTubers, if you can hear this, it will be great to create a video where you do the behind the scenes or bloopers, because I tell you, we have so much going on.
You already have a order coming out of Kenya. You just need to be there online or something or connect IG. The Mokazi says, "I want that soap."
Yay! Yay! Thank you so much, Demokwazis. Thank you so much. I'll definitely get back to you. If you link up with me on my IG, I'll definitely get back to you on that order.
And by the way, everybody, her contact information for Facebook, IG, and of course YouTube is all down in the description box as usual. Don't forget, everything is down in the description box in order to get a hold of her, and also to check out her videos. For those who haven't subscribed to her, like, share, and comment, subscribe to her channel and her videos. It's down in the description box. Next question. Now, your sister, Homies and Lifters, your sister told me something about your book of recipes. She said something like, if you lost that book, the whole world would come to an end. What is the plan preserving those recipes in that book if you were ever to lose that book? Tell us about it.
It's okay. Before I go to that point, TIA, let me just tell you outright. So recently, I just don't know what happened. I misplaced that book, right? And it was havoc in the house. I mean, I totally decided I'm not gonna eat, I'm not gonna sleep, I'm not gonna drink. I am going to make sure that I find that book and everything else will follow. I was in such a total panic.
Well, I caught my eye on that book like real quick when your sister was showing me, that I
Yeah.
think that little quick snippet through WhatsApp. And I saw that book and I was like,
Hmm.
okay, she's one of those people that writes everything down. That's why I asked about that book. And then she told me that, and I was just like, I can only imagine that the world would end if you lost that book. Okay, so let's hope you never lose that book because everybody, that book is gold right now. All right. In another video, you were in the village and going out collecting.
TIA.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, let me just go to the part where you said, what will I do to make sure that I do not lose the context in that book? Because I didn't answer that question.
Oh, okay.
So a very good friend of mine, after noticing like about the book, came on and told me, you need to organize your work in some sort of online archiving or online filing. And that good friend sent me a tutorial, and
Oh,
right now I'm working on it slowly but surely. And I just want to thank my friend so much for doing that for me. It's actually so convenient, effective, and efficient. It's really working. So I'm so happy. Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Everybody, I'm the one who made the tutorial for, by the way, not to brag or anything, but thank you very much. I was concerned. I don't want you to lose that information, and I don't, I know kids can pick things up and pretend it's a toy, and then the next thing you know, everything's gone. So, uh, I get it. I get it. But no, I'm glad you're taking care of that, and you can continue your business.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
okay, so like I was saying in that other video, you're in the village, you're
Hmm.
collecting wild edible leafy
Hmm.
greens. Now, like, what plants are edible in that area where you're doing that?
Hmm. So currently, where my village is in the northern part of Namibia, which is an area called an area for our Ambo people, is for everyone right now.
Hmm.
So in that area is just a whole different environment during the rainy season. And once the rainy season comes, everything just starts blooming. So that's when you find that the wild edible leafy greens are starting to flourish. And that's the time we make use of the opportunity to pick them. But in general, there are so many other leafy greens that are not only used as edible or staple, but then there are so many other leafy greens that are used for medicinal purpose, for cosmetic purpose. And, most of them have like long English scientific names. But, if I have to come on here and, say them in my native language, yeah, so there are so many, so many. It's not only for for food or for using as a relish, but then there are so many edible leafy greens that bloom during the rainy season that we pick and dry and use for cosmetics, we use for medicine, we use for minor ailments and treatment for small,
Okay. Let me give a few
thanks a
shout
lot.
outs to people in the chat. I'd like to say thanks to the Makwazis for coming in, Osho the Bee, Combatant Maggie. We also have Homies and Lifters, the sister of Sizzles Diaries. Make sure you go check out everybody's channel that I'm naming off here if you haven't done so already. Let's see who else we got. We got Lily Ogini. She's in the house. She just came in. Thank you for being here. We
Hey,
also have
bestie.
Dembe the Explorer. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. Let me scroll up and see if
Wow.
anybody else is here because I want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. So shout out to everybody. Looks like I did get everybody in there. Oh, Magano, Usiku. Thank you for being here
Yamagano
as well.
usiku.
Uh-huh. So it looks like she had one comment, or two comments, almost missed her in the barrage of comments there. Okay, so yeah, thank you everybody. We also have Lux Mom TV. She just now came in. Thank you very much. Now, my next question for you is
Welcome, besties.
my next question for you is that you went out and searched and collecting aloe vera, and I think you said
Yeah.
there are about 27 different species in that video. Now, throughout Namibia, can somebody find aloe vera growing in the wild? Is it like everywhere or just certain spots?
You see, there are different types of aloe species in Namibia, to be precise, 27 in total. And majority of them are in the Kavango woodlands, the savanna plateau, and the desert. So the ones that is endemic to my region is called the genus aloe, and that's the one you guys saw in that video.
Okay. Now I have a question. With 27 different species, can every single 20, all the 27, can they be used for the same thing?
No, you
Okay, how
see,
how can you tell?
okay, because not all of them can be used for one single purpose. You see, for example, that one can be used in so many other ways. For example, if you soak it in water, the water will pull out
Hmm.
it usually has like a yellow liquid which is very strong in smell. So it will pull out that yellow liquid, and then once you cut it, the yellow liquid has gone and the smell, and then you can blend it up, or just basically mesh it and use it like a hair treatment or a hair mask or something like that.
I think your audio cuts out when you do a little bit of
And
movement.
then we have the other one called, yeah, sorry, I'll try to minimize that. And
Okay.
then we have the other one called the aloe littorales. I hope I'm saying that right. So now the aloe littorales is used to extract, it actually has little flowers on the tip, and those flowers we use it to make a relish mixed with our traditional spinach, and that we mold it in kind of like a clay disc, and we call it evandale kundu.
Evandale and Kondo
Evanda
in Evanda
le
le
kundu.
Kundu.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we've also got the quiver alu. So the quiver alu is non-edible at all. Actually, it's one of our national symbols, and you'll find it on our $50 coin.
Okay. So
Yeah, so
it's highly regarded as one of your symbols. Okay.
yeah. So basically, not all kinds of aloe vera can be used for either edible or non-edible purposes, because there are actually some of them that are not even considered safe for human consumption, not even animal consumption.
Okay. Now, in one of your other videos in your village, you said that your people practice mixed economy agriculture. Now, I've heard of mixed economy, but what is, please explain what does that mean and how does that work?
Okay, so I think I must just offer the point of correction, because sometimes when you upload videos and you do a voiceover, you just tend to rumble so fast that you do not even get to hear the exact words that you're saying. But in that video, what I wanted to say was actually, like, our economy is a mixed economy, and the predominant form of um, um, industry is agriculture. So I just said it's a mixed economy agriculture.
Okay, okay.
Yes, but basically,
Because
I
believe
don't
me,
even
I
think
was
that there's something like that.
well, when you said that, I was looking up online. I'm like, well, there's got to be something, right? Like mixed economy kept coming up as something social and yeah, economy and social coming together. But
Yeah,
for the agriculture, I was like thinking, oh, maybe you can just add any type of industry to that name, and maybe that's what she did because I couldn't specifically find that that three-word title anywhere. It was just mixed economy. But I'm glad you explained that. But I mean, how does it work there? I mean, what do you guys do when you're explaining it? How does it work? How do people understand what it is that you're doing when you mean mixed economy with the agriculture in that area? How does that work?
okay, so basically, the majority of industry here in Namibia is fishing, mining, agriculture, and to name but a few. But then, since our people are mostly um, communal and industrial farmers, the majority, or that segment of industry, dominates in such a way that most of our people produce agricultural goods for consumption and for sale. That's why you're seeing, like, a lot of times in the market or on the streets, people are trading or trying to barter and vendor with produce that they've grown locally or that they've grown communally on their farm or from their industrial farming activities.
Okay, okay,
So it contributes to our economy, or our mixed economy, in such a way. You
okay.
understand?
Absolutely. I mean that makes a lot of sense. That's the clarification I wanted on that. Now, when it comes to maintaining one's culture in present day Namibia, I mean, what motivates you to maintain your culture? Because we got the
Well, you
digital
see,
age and everything. So,
yes, my biggest motive is the fact that I'm privileged enough to have my elders around me. I'm privileged enough to have my aunt, my mom, my grandmother from, my dad's side, and so I use that opportunity because I'm so much into my culture and I have the inquisitive nature. So I try my best to always surround myself with my elders. So I ask questions, because I know at some point I will be in an a totally different place where I have to render answers to either my peers, my sisters, my cousins, and be like a mommy or granny to them. So I took it upon myself that I have to be observant, I have to be in tune with my culture so that I do not miss out. And I honestly, one thing that you would realize about me is that I love knowledge. I love updating myself about who I am, where I'm from, because it shapes my destiny. My destiny. It tells me where I'm going. It's the
Mm,
essence of my DNA. So I respect that. And because I respect that, I have to find value in it. And because I find
mm.
value in it, I have to constantly seek questions and get answers.
You make a lot of great, you know, valuable points there. A lot more
Yeah,
people, I think, should probably follow that example. You know, like we are talking
thank
about
you.
before we went live, is that I was telling you about the guy in Kenya coming from the States. That, you know, the Kenyans are complaining that, you know, they're not into their culture like their elders and stuff like that from the past, and that they're accepting cultural norms from other places, and it's becoming the norm in Kenya and stuff like that. And this one guy comes in and he totally loves Kenya and he speaks the language, and he's totally like supporting the national anthem and all that other stuff. And it's like I was telling you, sometimes you're, you know, just like you're telling me, you're looking for that local support and you weren't really getting it. And it's like you find people from outside your culture, outside your nation, very interested in your content. And sometimes for people locally to be interested in what you're doing, to respect what you're doing or whatever, sometimes it takes the outside people to help that effort. You know, if they find value in it, sometimes people locally will start finding value in it. So I really appreciate what you're doing, absolutely do. And like I was saying before, me and her were talking in the background for a little bit. Is that a lot of the stuff that she's doing, you know, she's picking up from where she's from traditionally and then bringing it to the modern world with modern equipment. So like making the soap, for example. And if anything was to happen to, you know, our modern day society where we couldn't rely on electricity anymore, on a lot of the amenities that we've gotten used to, how are we going to survive? You know what I mean? And what she's doing, she's providing a service right now on how you can make things for yourself. I think everybody in every nation should be doing the same thing, or at least learning from others that are showing us how to do certain things, because I think it's very important, and it's a beautiful thing as well. I really do appreciate what you're doing. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Tia. I honestly also appreciate the fact that you find value in my creative work.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Now, let's talk business when it comes to YouTube. How long ago did you start your YouTube channel?
Okay, I've sorry for that movement, guys. So I've always wanted to start a YouTube channel, and I've been procrastinating and contemplating. And I'm just sorry to drift off topic, but I have to bring a little bit of history in it.
Okay, no problem.
So now, when my sister was studying abroad, I called her up and I told her, look, I spend I stay up all night or most of the night listening to these guys on how to create your first content or how to become a YouTuber, how to upload, the Minen and vidIQ and all those people. And then I'm like, I think I have something to offer and I want to put it out. And my sister was like, ah, I don't think social media is for us, man. We don't need to put ourselves out there. And I'm like, I don't think so. If you're offering, content that's valuable and that's educative and why not do it? Somebody out there do not know all these things and why should I keep it cooked up, you know?
Right.
So my sister came back and when she came back, I'm like, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. And that was like in July. So August, I set up everything, and then in September, I uploaded my first content, which was like an introduction. I wanna tell you, TIA,
Well, I'm glad you made that decision. You know, it's
my
hard for.
oh my, I didn't even know the realities of
Well,
Hello?
it's yeah, I can hear you.
Hmm.
Well, I'm glad you made that decision to do it because, like I said, you offer good and great content. You offer valuable content because a lot of people don't know about things like what's edible in that area where you're from and stuff like that. Somebody might find themselves needing to you know eat what you're showing them, for whatever reason. Now, if they don't have the information on what plants to eat, I don't know if you have any poisonous plants that you're not supposed to be picking and eating, and maybe, and if you do, you might decide to make a video or something like that. You don't eat this because it can hurt you. Um, Kind of waning off topic there, but next question is what equipment do you use when making your YouTube videos? Like what equipment did you start out with and what equipment have you acquired since then?
Okay, well, talking about coming onto the YouTube sphere is most of the equipment I've used outright were kind of DIY. But to film, honestly, I've just been using my phone, and it's not even the phone that I'm having now. My first phone, I thought it was the bomb back then. Honestly, when I got this phone, I'm still thinking it's the bomb, but definitely I still need to upgrade. So every time as you post out content, you realize that you should put out you should put out content that's appealing, that's educative, that's intriguing, that's catching to the eye. So definitely most of the equipment that I've been using have been DIY in terms of setting up. But in terms of filming, I've just been using my phone and the free apps to edit.
And what apps do you use to edit?
So I started off with Video Show, and then I moved over to KindMaster. And from KindMaster, I think I'm a kind of like stuck with no, then I went to Filmora, Filmora Go, I think, and now I'm stuck at I can't even remember the type of app I'm using. Yeah, but yeah, I can't remember, guys. I can't remember the app I'm using right now because unless I see the icon, but yeah, I'm using an app.
Right now, you should be using Google Chrome, I would think, for
Yes,
the interview. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm using Google Chrome for this.
So if anybody in the future, if you're going to be doing interviews with StreamYard, that's what I'm using, and the
Hmm.
interviewee has an Android phone, um, tell them they have to use Chrome and they're going to have to set it up in the desktop mode in order to jump on as a guest. The other thing too, if you're using an iPhone, you're going to have to use Safari to do the exact same thing. Just a FYI for everybody out there that's looking to use this in the future. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
okay, so what are some of the challenges when making your YouTube videos? Like, what challenges have you had to face?
Think this challenge I'm going to mention right now is relative to most African countries. Number one is electricity.
Hmm.
There isn't like a steady stream of electricity, especially in my area. One moment we can have light, and one moment is just gone. Sometimes it's upon notification, sometimes it's just unexpected. So when you don't have the power, and you try to go for plan B, you either go for a generator or you invest in a power bank. Yes, and the other challenge is network. Most of the times when we don't have electricity, the network goes, and believe me, the water also follows.
You said the water?
Yes,
Really? Networked in the water. Okay. I've never thought of that combination, but first electricity, then the network, then the water. Okay. I get you. Okay. Um, Now when it comes to YouTubers, who are some of your favorite YouTubers and why?
Okay, one of my favorite YouTubers is on. Let me not single out someone specific, but I usually look out for channels that are pro-African. Understand?
Hmm.
Channels that African lifestyle.
Hmm.
Channels that speak of African culture. Channels that value and appreciate their roots of Africa.
Hmm.
I spend my focus and my time looking out for those channels. I might find value in a channel that has something to offer me, which I can learn from to incorporate in one of my videos. But honestly, I am a pro-African and definitely I support pro-African content.
Okay. And um, I could definitely hold on. I'm just reading the comments there. Let me read it out real quick. McQuasi says, "Start here." Okay, no. Miss Trudy has always been using her phone until she got over 100,000 subscribers. Yeah, I actually saw the video. Somebody sent her a Fuji camera, like a really expensive Fuji camera from Canada, and then pretty much at the same
Yay!
time,
Wow.
she had already ordered a Canon camera from the States, which cost, with all their other equipment, about $1,000 altogether, like a ring light and some other stuff for a little home studio. But yeah, like you're saying, she started out with her phone. She had a simple phone, then she got a little bit better phone later on, and but the whole time she's been using her phone to do absolutely everything. She's now got a laptop she's been using lately. She showed us that, and now for some of her stuff, she's going to be using these other cameras now. But basically, there's other people that still use their phones that are past 100,000. And if you have a really good phone and it's pretty much everything that you do on that phone, and it's the only tool that you need, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think a lot of people get caught up too much in the equipment, that they got to have certain types of
The
equipment. I think,
gadgets, yeah.
right. I think it depends on the certain types of things you want to do, is the time that you want to get that equipment. However, if you're not going to be doing those things yet because it's not possible and you still have other projects, do the other projects with what you have. Okay. But to get back to the question and your answers, you're looking for African content when you're on YouTube. I really, that's pretty much about all I look for nowadays. I've always looked for it, but it's almost exclusive. I don't really look for too many DIYs anymore for computers and other stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that as much as I used to, because this is pretty
Yeah,
much
that's what I do,
full time.
TIA. That's what I do.
Okay. Yeah. Hold
Yeah,
on one
definitely.
second. Let me
You
see if
know,
my, oh, go ahead.
um, yeah, what I wanted to say is there are so many African creators out there who put out content that do not receive the recognition it should. And honestly, that's one of my driving force for going to encourage, to network, to motivate each other, and for
Right.
growth.
Right, and I totally understand that. Outside of content creators, we also have some of our own organic subscribers. And the great thing, you guys, about collabing is that, for example, if you were to collab with 10 different people, you might pick up anywhere from 1 to 10 people per collab. So let's just say you did 10 collabs and only one person that's an organic subscriber came to you from each one of those collabs. Well, you just gained 10 people. And if they really like your content and they're constantly coming to watch your videos,
Yeah.
from time to time, they're going to be sharing, and then you're going to pick up other subscribers. So the power of collab is very important. Now, I said one per collab, but you're going to get more than that with the more collabs that you do. Sometimes you're going to get 5, sometimes you're going to get 10. And if you're working with somebody like Maya, for example, you might get 30 to 100 in one day. So the power of collab is very important. It doesn't matter who you collab with, but I do recommend that if you're going to collab with anybody, check out what they're about. Make sure that whatever it is that they're doing, you agree with. If not, look for somebody else to collab with. That's my advice, because I've had some bad situations on other channels with other people. So that would be my advice. Now, what advice would you give to someone considering to start a YouTube channel? What's your advice to them?
See, my advice to them is start right now. The time is now. There is no better time to start than now. Your action will determine your journey ahead. So don't even think of, is my content worth it or isn't it worth it? When I started my YouTube channel, honestly, I didn't think my content will receive as much attention, however small or little. I never knew that it would come to a point where I'm sitting with you right here today and I'm having this interview. I didn't know that I would even meet people like Lily Ogini, Combatant Maggie, Katera Vlogs, whoever it is. But then it all starts with action. Be proactive, start, do it the right way, and just try to be there and network with people. You might find value in their work and they find value in your work. So just start. That's my advice. Start, stop procrastinating, just start.
That's very good advice. And everybody, I still recommend, if you haven't caught some of my information on other people's live streams, like African New TV, and I think it was on Afrogenic. What I had said at a couple different times is that
Right.
join the YouTube Creator Insider Network channel. It's free. Just join, because they have a lot of stuff in there, and
Yeah,
they encourage collabs. They absolutely encourage collabs. And because they're telling you, this is YouTube,
definitely.
they're telling you to collab because it builds your audience. And they wouldn't be saying that for no reason. All the big YouTubers, even till today, when they're making videos for you to make your own YouTube channel, or they're making videos about, how to fix engines in a car, and they're big YouTubers, because there's car YouTubers out there as well. They're collabing with other YouTubers in the same niche. You got to collab. Don't ignore it. It doesn't mean that majority of your time on YouTube has to be collabing, because that's not realistic anyway. But do it as much as possible, and make sure that you're both in agreement with whatever your topic is going to be. But again, YouTube is encouraging it. We just heard from Sizzles Diaries, her take on it. Don't procrastinate. Get started now. Okay. Um, Now, if there was one thing you could change about YouTube, what change would that what change would you like to make to YouTube if you had that choice?
Well, gotta think of this question quite fast, but honestly, I think I have the answer right now. You see, the change I would like to be made to YouTube is not even related to whether it's the support we get from YouTube or the support we get from the community, but rather I would like YouTube to honestly strengthen its policies more on like YouTubers who are not yet monetized. There is so much going on out there, and most of the times we are targets of so many things that we I just hope that there was more protection for us who are not yet monetized, honestly, because as I speak right here, I've had a cosmetic like company outright totally take one of my videos, and it's the marula oil video.
Hmm.
And when I tried to contact them, they outright blocked me everywhere. So I just wish there was some like more protection or more content ID protection for channels that are not monetized.
Yeah, I think the only defense that we have right now is that, since we don't have unless you're monetized, when you're monetized, you're going to find out in the monetized section of the studio that you're going to see a section called something like content ID match, which basically will automatically, with the algorithm, find videos that other people have downloaded from yours and uploaded without your permission. Otherwise, right now, while you're not monetized, you have to wait for somebody else to say, hey, guess what? I saw your video over here. Maybe you want to go and do a copyright claim on that, on your video. that's pretty much all you have. Or if you accidentally find it yourself that somebody's doing it, that's the only action that you can take right now. YouTube is not really helping us at the moment who are not monetized. You know, we're limited in that area. And then when you are monetized, you don't have direct contact with YouTube. It's not until you become a really big YouTuber that you start getting like special email address accounts where you can talk to a real person at YouTube. And if you're really, really big, you actually get a phone number or two to where you can speak to managers. So yeah, as far as help and protection, it's kind of limited, but I can also see at the same time, YouTube has way too many creators. They don't have the staff to accommodate all the complaints that'll be coming in from us. So the best thing to do right now, I think, is everybody just work on your content, get organic subscribers, and just follow the community guidelines best as possible. So that way you don't get any community guideline strikes or anything like that. Now I'm kind of going off topic there, so I apologize for that, everybody. Next
No, it's
question.
okay.
Okay, so basically you said that I totally agree with you there. I wish they would just go ahead and carry that content ID onto people who are not monetized, because even people with YouTube channels that don't care about monetization, they do it for the passion. There are a few people out there that are like that, and they should have that same type of protection, and they should have that same type of feature
Definitely.
that YouTube offers to monetize channels. I want to give a shout out to another person I see in the chat, Katera Vlogs. Thank you for coming in. We really appreciate you being here. Sizzle Diaries. The next question I have for you is, where do you see your YouTube channel in the next 12 months?
So guys, in the next 12 months, I want to do more of what I couldn't do right now because of lockdown. So I plan on traveling across Namibia just to showcase culture, customs, tradition, norms, and I plan on rolling out more content that's not only related to cooking, but content that, you know, aimed at understanding. For example, I have so many questions coming from either angles. People want to find out, look, can you tell us what is it with these uh, people in Namibia who dress like royals, and that's the Overherero people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what's up with these people who walk around like they're like made of red ash or red
Clay.
pigment, and they're half, red clay, and they're
Uh-huh.
half naked. So I got so many questions. Like people want to know what's up with their dress code. What, all these type of people. The Bushmen who are the original or the first inhabitants of Namibia. They are called the Bushmen. They are
Mm-hmm.
part of the Khoisan descendants.
Mm-hmm.
I plan on traveling to those villages and maybe do vlogs of I spend a weekend or I spend, a day in the life of the Overherero, Overhimba, or, communities. I just plan on doing that. So when the lockdown is lifted, I hope I can find enough resources to do that. And I'm looking forward to collaborating more with not only other African content creators, but more so my own people, you know. But then when I look into collaborations, honestly, no matter how small the channel is, I do not look at channels in terms of numbers, but I look in terms of consistency and the value they offer.
Good
My
point.
biggest challenge is collaborating with a channel that I believe is amazing, but then you collaborate and 6 months down the line there is no content. It's honestly so discouraging.
Yeah.
So I,
Yeah.
I, I look at consistency and I look at value.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with you. I'm just going to let everybody know myself. I don't turn on the notification bell for everybody I subscribe to, because I like to look at their content and see if they're offering anything that's of value. If I'm looking at somebody's channel and all I see is news feeds that were downloaded and re-uploaded, and that's pretty much what their whole channel is about, To me, that's not a channel. That's just somebody that's a fan of somebody else's channel, like CNN or ABC or what have you, BBC, and that's all their content, but it's not really their content. So I don't want notifications when somebody uploads a new video with something like that. I want content notifications for content of people who are creating something about themselves that has value, or a product, which could be tourism, things of that nature. That's what I want to see. And that's why I want to turn on the notification bell for those channels. So you were telling me behind the scenes, you get crazy notifications. And you're telling me because you always turn on the notification bell. So my recommendation is, if anybody's getting crazy notifications and you don't want to unsubscribe to anybody, just turn off the bell. That's all you have to do. That's just my recommendation. So my next question for you is, um, basically, as we wrap up this live stream, what do you want the people to know about you that we have not already covered? Okay.
Well, okay, guys. Just a slight hint, but I definitely know that most of you, looking at the type of content I pull out, and generally just looking into my live streams, I just want to say this outright. I am a person who focus on modest African lifestyle. So anytime you come to my channel and you find, um, honestly, I cannot pretend to be like all, you know,
All knowing.
I focus on modest African lifestyle. What you
Mm,
see is what you get.
mm.
I do not try to tone it down a notch, or I might tone it up a notch in showing how African I am, but then I do not try to show that I live in a castle when I don't live in a castle. So anybody who can relate to me is somebody who can relate to stories of people who are trying to rise above poverty line, people who are trying to rise for the betterment of Africa, for the betterment of the continent, people who are trying to show that Africa is great. Africa has always been here. In fact, most of us need Africa because everything we need is in Africa.
True.
But we need to encourage ourselves as Africans that we can do better. We can do better in terms of education. We can do better in terms of technology. We can do better in terms of resources. We just need to stand united and stick together and just try to be united as Africans. So I'm so sorry if you come to my channel and you do not see beautiful setup, hotel setup, or all those things portraying how luxury and stuff. I show it as it is, but I know that maybe one day I might need to be traveling to an area where I showcase, like, this building exists in Africa. Can you believe it? Because most people think that we are living we are living in the bushes and there's really nothing Africa can offer, because we are still wearing like the animal skins and stuff like that.
Mm.
I might show off that to promote my country, to promote my region. But honestly, if you find value in my channel, I beg, it's all about a modest African lifestyle. I try to show you how we've been doing it centuries, whether we can do it using modern ways, it doesn't matter, but it's just a modest African lifestyle. So
Thank you.
that's what I can say.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting us know about that, and I really do appreciate it again. Um, for those of for those who are not here in the beginning, can you please just tell us one more time where people can find you on the internet? I do have your information down in the description box, but just tell us anyway where people can actually find you on Facebook, Instagram.
So first of all, guys, I'm more active on face. I'm more active on YouTube. So you can find me. My brand name or my channel name is Sizzles Diaries, and I'm also visible on other social medias, more so on Instagram. And on Instagram, Sizzle Diary. I am at Sizzles underscore diaries. On Facebook, I'm Sizzles Diaries. So basically, it's same across most or those three social media sites.
Okay, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Again, this is KBM, the host of This is Africa, and today is Saturday, 6 June 2020. Appreciate everybody for coming in. For those who are going to be doing the playback, please start from the beginning. Just if you start towards the end, just to let everybody know, her information is down in the description box. For those content creators out there not utilizing their description box, I do encourage that you do, because a lot of people sometimes depend on the description box in order to get other information. Plus, it also helps out your channel with analytics and so forth. Um, Sizzles Diaries, thank you for being here today. You've been a good friend ever since I've met you, and I really, it's an honor for me to have you on here. I appreciate this collab, and hopefully we can do this again.
Thank you so much, TIA. I honestly appreciate your support and kindness. And to everybody out there, thank you so much for coming. And I appreciate you all. I hope that we can stay in touch. Check my channel out, but more so, please check out each other. And can you hear me?